What if I told you there's still a way to live happy, healthy, and peaceful in this stage of life without depending on your children or anyone else? Would you believe that? A life where you still make your own choices, wake up each morning with a sense of purpose, and feel light inside like a calm sunrise. That's not a dream. It's entirely possible if you learn to rebuild your foundation from within. You see, there comes a time in every life when things quietly shift. Our children have families of their own. Friends move away. The phone rings less often, and the house, it feels quieter than ever before. But that silence doesn't have to mean loneliness. Sometimes it's the beginning of something deeper, a journey back to your own strength, your own joy, and your own peace. I've seen many older adults here in America discover this for themselves. When they stopped waiting for someone else to take care of them, they started living differently, stronger, calmer, and more fulfilled. They stopped asking, "Who will help me?" and instead began asking, "What can I do for myself today?" That moment, that quiet shift, is where true freedom in aging begins. And in this video, I want to share with you the 5 most important things every senior should rely on instead of relying solely on family to find lasting happiness, health, and peace. These aren't theories or philosophies. They're simple truths drawn from years of listening, observing, and learning from people who've already walked this path with grace and wisdom. So if you feel it's time to live lighter, laugh easier, and stand stronger on your own, then this, my friend, is where the journey begins. We just talked about the power of finding strength within yourself. And the very first place that strength lives, the most familiar, the most faithful, is right here, in your body. Have you noticed how different you feel on those mornings when you wake up a little earlier, make a cup of coffee, open the door, and take in the cool morning air? The human body, at any age, carries a deep memory. It remembers every step, every stretch, every steady breath. And each time you move, you're sending yourself a quiet message. I'm still here. I can still do this. The truth is, many people lose faith in their bodies too soon. They begin to believe that back pain, weak knees, or poor balance are simply part of getting old. But the body doesn't give up that easily. It only responds to how we treat it. When we sit too long, it stiffens. When we avoid movement, it weakens. And when we stop trying, it slowly steps away from us. At 60, 70, even 80, the most precious thing isn't strength or speed. It's independence. The ability to choose how you move, how you care for yourself, and how you live each day. Because as long as you can still stand up on your own, walk outside, fix a simple meal, or mail a letter at the post office, you're still in control of your life. Freedom in old age doesn't come from how many people care for you. It comes from knowing you can still care for yourself. At this stage of life, the body needs kindness, not neglect. It needs to be used gently, respected, and given the chance to stay active, to remember that it still matters. Whether it's a short walk around the block, a few minutes tending your garden, or stepping into the backyard to breathe fresh air, these small acts form the foundation of lifelong health. You don't need to move like you did at 30. What matters most is consistency, a little each day, at your own pace, in your own rhythm. Like a quiet promise you make to yourself. Today, I won't let my body fall asleep. Medical studies in the U.S. have shown that gentle, consistent movement doesn't just keep the body flexible, it also improves memory, lifts mood, and lowers the risk of depression among older adults. But more importantly, regular movement gives you something deeper, a quiet confidence that says, I am still capable, I am still in charge. So, if you're watching this, take a moment and ask yourself, what have I done for my body today? And if the answer is, not much, that's okay. You can start right now. No gym, no schedule, just stand up, stretch your back, roll your shoulders, take a few slow steps around the house. Let your body know that you still care, that you still want to walk beside it. Because when you move even just a little, you're not only moving your body, you're holding on to your freedom. And at this stage of life, that freedom is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. If this message resonates with you, leave a small note below, even something as simple as, I still have the strength to keep walking. You never know, your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today, to take that first small step towards standing strong again. After talking about the strength of the body, let's move to something that quietly shapes the peace of our later years: money. Not how much we have, but how simple or complicated it is. As we get older, it's often not the big problems that wear us down, it's the small, tangled ones. A confusing bill, an unexpected withdrawal, a letter from the bank you don't understand. These little things can cause sleepless nights for many older Americans, not because they lack money, but because they've lost that comforting sense of control. True peace of mind in finances doesn't come from the size of your savings account. It comes from clarity. When you know where your money is, what it's for, when it's due, and when you can manage it yourself, you feel secure, even if the numbers aren't large. I've seen many retirees fall into quiet anxiety simply because their financial life became too complicated. Credit cards, investments, phone bills, subscriptions, insurance policies all tangled together into one big mental knot. They start to dread checking the mail, avoid looking at their bank statements, and live with a constant, low hum of worry. That kind of hidden stress seeps into your sleep, your breathing, your peace. But once you begin to simplify, everything changes. You don't need more, you just need clarity. Cut back on what's unnecessary. Keep what truly serves your daily life. Maybe just one main account, one backup card, and a small rainy day fund for emergencies. Even something as simple as a small notebook where you write down key bills and due dates can bring remarkable calm. Because when your finances are in order, your mind is in order. You no longer carry the weight of uncertainty. You no longer live with that constant question, did I forget something? And most importantly, you regain that deep sense of control, the feeling that you are still in charge of your life. Living independently in America doesn't have to mean living complicated. A clear budget, a few simple accounts, and a debt-free lifestyle, that's the real formula for mental freedom. Freedom doesn't come from having more, it comes from needing less. And if you think it's too late to start simplifying, remember this: it's never too late to feel lighter. Choose a quiet weekend morning, make yourself a cup of tea, spread your papers on the table, and start with one small thing. Cancel a service you don't use, close an old account, or just organize your documents in order. Then notice what happens. The house feels brighter, your breath feels deeper, and you realize the peace you've been searching for all along might begin with something as simple as letting go. If you've ever felt that quiet relief of living simpler, share it in the comments below. Because your story might be the reminder someone else needs that true peace isn't in how much you have, but in how clearly you live with it. After talking about the body and finances, the two pillars of independence, let's turn to another one that quietly holds everything together: your daily habits. Because it's the small things you do, over and over, every morning and every night, that keep you standing strong the longest. Too many people start paying attention to their health only after something goes wrong: a sudden pain, a bad diagnosis, a fall that shakes their confidence. But at this stage of life, living in constant fear of what might happen is exhausting. Health isn't something we keep by luck. It's something we maintain through steady, simple routines. Here in America, most older adults already have their daily medications, doctor's appointments, or gentle home exercises. But there's a quiet difference between those who have these things and those who've turned them into habits. The ones who make it routine live lighter, calmer, more at ease because they no longer have to think or worry about it. When you know exactly when to take your medicine, when to walk, how you'll start your morning, and when you'll rest at night, your body and mind move into rhythm. That rhythm becomes peace. Your day doesn't have to be complicated. It can begin with a glass of warm water, a few shoulder stretches, or a few minutes on the porch breathing in the fresh air. It can end with turning off the screen a little earlier, reading a few pages of a book, or sitting quietly under the soft light of your living room lamp. Those small actions are more than healthy habits. They're daily reminders that you're still taking care of yourself. When life has rhythm, life has order. And when things feel in order, worry naturally begins to fade. Older age doesn't need big changes. It needs steady ones. Just enough stability to make you trust tomorrow. So don't feel pressured to overhaul everything at once. Start with one small action: a short walk after dinner, taking your pills on time, stretching each morning, and keep at it. A week from now, a month from now, you'll begin to see that health isn't just about the body. It's about respecting yourself enough to care every single day. And if you're listening right now, take a quiet moment and ask, what have I done today to care for myself? If the answer is not much, that's okay. Let tomorrow be your beginning, because one small habit today can become the foundation of a longer, stronger, and more peaceful life. If you've ever felt that quiet relief of living simpler, share it in the comments below. Because your story might be the reminder someone else needs that true peace isn't in how much you have, but in how clearly you live with it. When your body has been cared for and your daily habits begin to take root, the next thing to nurture is what lives deep within your inner strength. At this stage of life, many people no longer fear illness itself, they fear loneliness. They fear the quiet emptiness that comes when their roles as parents, workers, or caregivers fade away. But here's something many forget. The human spirit, when trained gently and patiently, can become stronger than any muscle. Older adults in America often have more time than they used to, and sometimes that time turns into long stretches of silence, the kind that brings back old memories, losses, and regrets. None of us can escape those feelings. They are simply part of being human. The key is not to avoid sadness, but to learn how to walk through it without falling. Emotional strength doesn't mean hiding what you feel or pretending to be tough. It means being able to sit with yourself and say, yes, I'm sad, but I'm still okay. When you give yourself permission to fully feel without judgment, without running, the sadness naturally begins to soften. That's how the soul learns endurance. There are many small ways to cultivate this kind of peace. Some people take a few minutes each morning to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and whisper thanks for simply waking up. Others write their thoughts in a small notebook, letting the act of writing untangle their mind. And some just step outside, look at the sky, notice the trees, and remind themselves that life is still moving and that they are still part of it. Sometimes real strength isn't about how many storms you've survived, it's about how calm you can remain while they pass. Aging brings many shifts, health changes, losses, transitions in relationships, but within all that change there remains one unshakable truth. You still get to choose your response. If you're feeling lonely, sad, or uncertain right now, please remember this: emotions are not your enemy. They're waves. They rise and fall. You, my friend, are the ocean wide, deep, and constant beneath it all. So don't fear your feelings. Acknowledge them, then let them pass through. Each time you do, you build another layer of quiet strength around your heart. And if this speaks to you, share a small thought below. Even something as simple as, I can stay calm through the sad days. Your words might be the strength someone else needs. Another soul learning, just like you, how to stand steady and find peace again in the later chapters of life. If you've ever felt that quiet relief of living simpler, share it in the comments below. Because your story might be the reminder someone else needs that true peace isn't in how much you have, but in how clearly you live with it. When your body feels strong, your finances are steady, your routines are in place, and your spirit has found calm, there remains one final, and perhaps most important, foundation: living by your own values. At this stage of life, many people begin to ask quietly, who am I now without my job, without my children depending on me, without the roles that once defined me? The answer lies not in what you do, but in what you believe and how you choose to live each day. All our lives, we define ourselves by titles, responsibilities, or other people's expectations. But when those fall away, only your core values remain. Maybe it's honesty, kindness, gratitude, or simply the belief that you can still leave the world a little better than you found it, one small act at a time. Your values are your inner compass. When everything outside changes, they keep you from losing your way. When you live by them, you no longer chase approval or recognition. You don't need anyone to remind you that you matter, because you already know it in how you speak, how you treat others, and how you make your choices every day. Living by your values isn't about grand gestures. It's in the simple things: keeping your word even when no one's watching, telling the truth even when it's hard, smiling at a stranger, or forgiving an old mistake. Over time, these quiet choices build a steady foundation, anchoring your soul amid the constant changes of aging. When you live true to your values, your heart feels lighter. You no longer fear being forgotten, because you understand the meaning of life isn't measured by how long others remember you, but by how deeply you lived with kindness and integrity. That is the deepest kind of peace, a peace that doesn't need praise, doesn't need to be seen, but is felt in every quiet breath you take. If you're watching this, I'd like you to try something small. Take a piece of paper and write down 3 things you truly believe in. 3 simple principles you want to live by. Maybe it's be grateful each day or treat people with kindness. Don't just write them, live them. Let them show up in your small choices, your words, your daily rhythm. Because in the end, when everything else has changed, only your values will remain, and they will be the compass that leads you through old age with dignity, peace, and that quiet, knowing smile that says, I have lived well. If you've ever felt that quiet relief of living simpler, share it in the comments below. Because your story might be the reminder someone else needs that true peace isn't in how much you have, but in how clearly you live with it. If you've listened this far, perhaps you've already realized happiness, health, and peace at this stage of life don't come from anyone else. They come from you. There comes a point in every life when children build worlds of their own, friends become fewer, and the body begins to slow down. But that doesn't mean we must live in dependence or loneliness. In truth, it's an invitation, a time to rebuild your life in your own way. A life that is simpler, more intentional, and deeply meaningful. When you rely on your body, you hold on to freedom. When you simplify your finances, you hold on to peace. When you nurture healthy routines, you hold on to vitality. When you stay steady through emotions, you hold on to strength. And when you live by your own values, you hold on to dignity and faith. Growing older isn't an ending, it's a return to truth. It's the time to live slower, truer, and wiser. Because in the end, what matters most isn't who stands beside you every day, but that you still have the strength, the mind, and the heart to stand on your own. Before you leave this video, I'd like to ask you something. What's one small thing you can choose to change today? Maybe it's walking 10 extra minutes. Maybe it's organizing your papers, or simply writing down 3 things you truly believe in. Those small steps, they're the quiet foundation of a lasting peace. If these words have touched you, leave a comment below. I'm ready to begin again with myself. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay with us, the Senior Life Wisdom community, as we continue this journey together, living slower, living stronger, and living with meaning every single day. Thank you for listening. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. If you're watching this, I'd like you to try something small. Take a piece of paper and write down 3 things you truly believe in. 3 simple principles you want to live by. Maybe it's be grateful each day or treat people with kindness. Don't just write them, live them. Let them show up in your small choices, your words, your daily rhythm. Because in the end, when everything else has changed, only your values will remain, and they will be the compass that leads you through old age with dignity, peace, and that quiet, knowing smile that says, I have lived well. If you've ever felt that quiet relief of living simpler, share it in the comments below. Because your story might be the reminder someone else needs that true peace isn't in how much you have, but in how clearly you live with it.